Hi, good afternoon, friends. Today I'm going to show you the actual video of the yard test and step-by-step procedure to pass the yard test. Okay, before we start the video, let me show you the map of the yard test. It's very important to understand the map in order to you have more chances to pass the test. So as you can see in this map, that's your start here. That's the place from where you're going to start your parking test. The first stage is hill stop, which is here. Then you have to go for emergency braking here, followed by angle parking here. Once that's done, you will do the garage parking and then the parallel parking. Once all the parking is done, you need to bring the car back to the same parking slot. So once it's done, the car will say, or the monitor screen would say your parking test is finished. Okay, so let's go through the actual video and the stages involved. So as you can see in this video, this is the start area. So before we go for the test, let me clarify a few points, few mistakes which usually driver do. So as soon as you are allocated the car, you go inside the car and do adjust the seat. Okay, it's very important to adjust the seat, check the mirror, then put the seat belt. Once you are ready, you need to give a thumbs up sign to the operator so you can start the test. Okay, once you start the test, the machine will announce, okay, your test is starting now. That's the time you need to put the indicator, remove the brake, do the shoulder check. It's very important. We most of the time we forget to do this. So we need to make sure we do all the basics. Once that's done, you're ready to go for the test. Now the screen will guide you. You need to follow the instruction given by the screen. Okay, so the first thing is the hill test. You see, yeah, you see this white mark. These white marks are sensor. Once your car crosses this, the screen will announce what you are supposed to do. So since you are crossing this, it will say this is your slope test. Now for the slope test, the important thing is you need to stop after this white line and before the yellow line. Once your car is stopped, you need to put the brake. Once you put the parking brake, then you can go ahead. That's the first stage. Slope test is done. Okay, you need to make sure your car doesn't roll back when you are going through the slope, because there are minus point for that. Okay, the next would be emergency braking. Now another thing, make sure you use proper indicator when you're taking right or left. Okay, so as you can see there are two lines, so you can choose either one of this. Now as soon as you cross this, yeah, this white sensor will announce again. Now again, very important for emergency brake test, your speed need to be above 20 and below 35. If your speed is below 20, you automatically get failed. So you make sure your speed is above 20, and as soon as the beep sound comes, you press the brake, because emergency parking test or brake test is mainly for you, for them to judge your mental awareness. So they see how quick you can take the actions. So as soon as you hear the beep sound, you apply the brake, and usually you should stop before the lines there. Again, once you put the brake, they'll say to go for, yeah, so once you cross this mark, it will say it's your angle parking test. Now for angle parking test, it's very important you keep the car as close to the dotted line in the center. Okay, now you have three parking. You can choose either one of these parking. Either you can park on the first slot or in the second slot, that's up to you, but try to keep the car as close as to the dotted line. Now you can stop here, and you need to put the, again, don't forget to put the indicator as well as do the shoulder check. Now as a general rule, once this yellow line crosses your mirror, you turn it, and the key to do a proper parallel parking is do it as slowly as you can. Do not rush for it. Okay, yeah, you need to be very slow while you are doing the parking. You have enough time. Usually they give 20 minutes, which is more than enough to do the parking test. So for the entire yard test. So do not rush yourself. Once you see you're comfortable, the car is properly parked, you're gonna put the parking brake. As soon as you put the parking brake, the screen will tell you to exit the parking. Now again, you need to do the shoulder check, use the indicator and come back. Now it's all right even if you touch this center yellow line, but you should not touch the parking yellow line. Now as soon as you cross this sensor, now it would say this is your garage parking test. Now again you have three choices, you can choose either one of these. For same, like you need to keep the parking the car as close as to the center dotted line, and you should not touch the yellow line of the parking because this is monitored by camera. There are cameras on both the mirror, so even if you go through above it, you fail the test. Okay, I'll make a probably another video to discuss in detail how to properly do a garage parking or a angular parking or a parallel parking. But as you can see in this videos, try to go as slow as possible when you're doing parking. Okay, the slower you go, the more chance you have for parking. You should not go on top of the yellow line, but keep as close as possible to it. Okay, then you go slowly back. Once your car is straight, you can turn the wheel, make it straight. To make it straight, the parking brake, the screen will ask you to exit the parking and go for the next test. Again, while exiting, you make sure you use the indicator and do the shoulder check. Easy, right? Okay. The next stage is your parallel parking. Now again you have three choices. You can choose any one of this parking, but for the parallel parking, unlike garage parking where you were keeping your car close to the center dotted line, for parallel parking you need to keep it as close as possible to this solid yellow line. Okay, and then again the key is maintain the speed as slow as possible and never do dry steering. Means do not rotate the wheel when your car is stopped. So you have to rotate it when it's moving. Okay, there's minus point for that as well. And there is minus point if you don't do the shoulder check or the indicator is not used. This come into the minus, but if you do it quite frequently, you get failed again. Again, once you put the parking brake, it will ask you to exit the parking. Now, as I said earlier, it's all right even if your car go above this dotted line, but it should not touch the yellow solid line. Okay, so once it's done, you need to park it in the same place. And then the screen will announce your test is finished. Now, another few things. Now, don't rush up. Once your test has finished, don't rush up. You need to make sure you put the gear into the parking, use the parking brake, then open the door. Okay, it's very important because if you do this minor mistake, you again fails. Okay, take your time, do it properly. You have around, and if you like the video, please don't forget to subscribe or like my channel. Yes, the final one, yes.